Splash, Simba, Hydrox, and Boo, the LuckyFerals.
You guys hungry? Sit. Sit. Good boy. Good boy.
Right now it's about 5:15 p.m. and I'm uploading tonight's video. And I want to tell you what happened to me this afternoon because it's just like crazy. So today I sat through like a 3-hour lunch. It was fun, but it was also an awards presentation, and those can get really boring. And around, I would say, maybe around like 2:30, I decided that I had sat there long enough. I was there for like 2.5 hours, and I just needed to kind of get up and walk around. It's like I felt like, okay, for me it was over. So I left and I walked to a store where I made a few purchases, and from there I said, let me take those back to my hotel room and put them in the room so I don't have to carry them around all day. So I walk all the way back to my hotel room, and I noticed that the maid was never there. Like, it was already almost 3 p.m. at that point, and I'm like, that's really weird. I left the hotel room around 8:30 in the morning, and by now it should have been cleaned, but it had not been cleaned. So I was like, okay, that's strange. So then I figured, okay, while I'm here in the hotel room, let me just put on my computer and finish editing tonight's video. Then I can upload it and I'll just be done. So I sit down at the desk and I start editing tonight's video. And about 10 minutes later, there's a knock on the door, and I'm thinking, that's weird. Maybe it's someone I know. So I open the door and it's the maid, and she's looking at me like, what are you doing in the room? And I see her, and then I realize, oh, she's coming to clean the room. So I said to her, okay, I'll be out in 10 minutes. So I shut the door, and then I had to like close out of the programs, power down the computer, put it in my bag. I packed everything up, and I said, oh my gosh, let me go down and work in the lobby, because if I work in the lobby, I might be able to see little Richard, because he might be coming back. When I came back to the hotel, his car was not there, but I figured maybe he'd be coming back from somewhere, and then I'd be able to see him come in. Maybe I could even meet him. So I go and I situate myself at a table in the lobby that was like directly across from the door. And I'm sitting there, and within 5 minutes, the gold Escalade pulls up. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is like amazing. Like, so I get my camera out and I'm like in position to start taking photos, but I realize that it's taking him a really long time to get out of the car. Like, there's a whole bunch of people and it's like a big production, and it was probably, I would say, 20 to 30 minutes before he ended up coming inside. But during that time, it was great because I sat there and I edited tonight's video. And while I was doing that, I noticed that there were these two older guys, and they were like hanging around the lobby, and they were kind of blatantly watching for little Richard to come in. I mean, I was sitting at a table working on my laptop. I think I was really nonchalant about it, but these two guys were like really kind of blatant. So what happened was, after probably like 20 or 30 minutes, little Richard eventually gets wheeled into the lobby and very quickly wheeled across the lobby, and I guess to the elevators. I don't know, because I couldn't see because of where I was sitting. He didn't look around. They didn't stop to look at anyone. They just kind of like walked where they were going with a purpose, and that was that. But during that time, I was able to put my camera on and catch him being wheeled across the lobby, which was really cool because now I've documented the fact that, yeah, I was in the hotel where little Richard lives. So as soon as he was wheeled through, it happened really fast. I was like, oh wow, this is so great. I caught it on camera. So I hit the stop button on the camera, and somehow those two guys that were also waiting for him, somehow now all of a sudden they were standing like a few feet to my right. So I turn and I look at them, and we both kind of acknowledge each other, and they're like, that's little Richard. I was like, yeah, I know. I just got video of him being wheeled across the lobby. And they were like, oh my gosh, that's so great. And I was like, yeah, I could email it to you. So I give them my phone, and I was like, yeah, just type in your email address and I'll email you the footage. And they were so happy by that. The next thing I know, one of them gives me this. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, this is the book that little Richard gave them when he was getting out of the car. So it seems that these two guys had talked to him while he was outside, while he was getting out of the car. Little Richard handed them this book, and let me show you what's inside of it. And this photo, which says, God loves and cares for you. Please don't forget that, little Richard. So basically, this is like a pre-printed postcard, and that's signed. This is not an individual signature. It's pre-printed on there. But this book And this photo was in Little Richard's car just a few hours ago. Little Richard then handed these to the guy that I met in the lobby. And because I videotaped Little Richard being wheeled across the lobby and told the guy that I would email him the footage, he then gave me the book and the photo because he said that they had another copy. It was two guys, and I guess they each had one. So he gave me his. So right now, I have these. And how crazy a story is that? Like, what are the chances I'm going to be sitting in those awards saying, you know what, I'm really bored. I need to leave right now. I go and I do some shopping, and then I say, I need to walk back to my hotel, and I need to put that in the room. Then I decide, okay, well, let me edit a video while I'm in the room. And then the maid just randomly happens to knock on the door, and I just randomly happen to realize, oh my gosh, I should be editing in the lobby because maybe I could run into Little Richard. I get down to the lobby. His car pulls up like 5 minutes later, so I'm hanging out there editing a video. I notice the two guys that are also waiting for him, and I film him being wheeled across the lobby, and the two guys just happen to be standing next to me after he's wheeled across the lobby, and I film it. I just happen to start talking to those guys, tell them I'm going to email them the footage, and then they hand me this. I mean, the chances of that happening are like so slim to none. I am so ridiculously lucky. Like, it's just been a crazy afternoon. This book is called Finding Peace Within, a book for people in need. And Little Richard hands this book to everyone that he meets. On the back of the book, it says, stress can cripple you. Today's fast-paced lifestyles demand relief. Personal disappointments, broken family relationships, and job-related stresses are crippling thousands. Published in more than 100 languages, this easy-to-read, easy-to-follow guide offers lasting solutions to the challenges of everyday stress. Discover what millions of readers have discovered. Finding Peace Within is a book for people in need. This is what it looks like inside. It says Part 1, The Way to Christ by E.G. White, and Part 2, The Christian Way by L. Munilla and C.E. Wheeling. All rights reserved. Copyright 2005 by Inspiration Books East Incorporated. That's really cool. Now, those of you who know of Little Richard may know of his history and how he quit showbiz for a while to study religion, and I believe he even became a minister or a preacher himself. And then he went back to music, and I believe right now he has gone back to his life of serving God. And yeah, so this is what he handed out. So yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy day. watching this LuckyFerals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.